Alright, in this video we're going to be looking at how to use trend lines on scatterplots to make predictions. So this is something that you're going to have to do a lot on the STAR test and during class today. And on your unit test that's coming up. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of the easiest ways to do it. So when we're looking at the scatterplot, you already know that your trend line should cut through the data so that some of the data points lie on top of the line and lay below. Another method that you can use to help you is to create a boundary. So notice I'm going to get my protractor here and I'm going to go ahead and put it out a little bit of distance and make me a boundary that's about even distance from it. I can make a boundary on top now and do the same, and then I can go ahead and just go to the middle of what I've made and draw my line that cuts through the data. So I know that's kind of a roundabout way, but if you need to make the boundaries, your upper and lower boundaries, to kind of get it centered, you're welcome to do so. Or you can just, if you can do it by just looking at it and run one through the center, you're welcome to do that too. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these lines now, and we're going to go ahead and make a prediction and see what we come up with. So for instance, if my question were to be asking me, if it were to say the water is draining from a tub in a bathroom, at 8 minutes, how many gallons would be left? What I could do is I could just go to 10, and then I would follow my 10 up until it hits my line, and then I'll follow it over. And in this case, I would say, okay, well, at 10, right, it's going to hit my line right there. If I go across, these looks like they are going by 250, so that's 255, 750, 10. So I would say 750. So at 10 minutes, my tub will have 7.5 gallons left. If they were to have asked me how many gallons would be left to be drained at 4 minutes, then I would go to the 4 on my x-axis, which is my time, and I would follow it up until it hit my trend line, and then I would go over. And in this case, at 4 minutes, I roughly have 15 gallons left to drain out of the bathtub. And it doesn't matter which number they give you, you can make the prediction using that trend line. So let's go ahead and take a look at another example. In this example, we have games played and total points scored. So if we're looking at this, we wanted to make our trend line, we could create the boundaries like I showed you before. Or if you just want to go ahead and find the center of your data, just pull your protractor down until it hits about the center of the data, and then draw a line that cuts through it. So if you notice, most of my data falls either I got one below, one above, and that's what you want to see. You want to see some high, some low, going back and forth, and you know that your trend line is made well. And if they said, okay, well, after how many points would you be likely to have once you played 5 games? You would go to 5 games on your x-axis and go up, and then you would go over to see how many points you have. And if we were to play 5 games, we would likely score 20 points. If they said 10 games, we could go all the way over here to the edge where 10 is, and we can go all the way up till we hit 10, and then we can go all the way over. And if you notice, that's right in between 40 and 45, and we could say, well, if we played 10 games, we'd have somewhere between 42 and 43 points. And that's all you're doing with these predictions, is you're making your trend line, and then you're looking at the x-axis and going to your trend line. Even if there's not a dot there, it doesn't matter. Notice there wasn't a dot there at 5, there wasn't a dot there at 10, but that trend line, when it cuts through that data, it gives us a rough estimate so that we can approximate the amount of points, or the amount of something that we are measuring that will occur in a given amount of time, or number of cycles or games. So with that information, go ahead and answer the rest of the questions at this station.